Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said Cognac. Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist Cognac Wellerlane, and welcome back to Cognac's Corner. In another moment, we will be watching another fabulous video. But first, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and always press the notification button to let you know when I will be publishing a new video. And also, darlings, don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about my videos and what other type of videos you'd like me to make. Let's get to the video. Pink champagne kisses. Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist Cognac Wellerlane, and I have a very, very special guest today. I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled. I'm speaking to Bob Pranga, Dr. Christmas. He is famous all over the world, especially in Hollywood. He's done so many fabulous Hollywood homes for Christmas. He's decorated so many fantastic celebrities and movie stars like Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Kim Kardashian, and the Hiltons and Paris Hilton. He's just done everybody there is. Welcome, darling. Welcome to Cognac's Corner TV show. Welcome to my pink kitchen. As you know, my whole house is pink. And my Christmas tree is pink. Everything is pink. I'm sort of like a modern day Jane Mansfield, if you can believe that.
Oh, I can, because I was in Jane's house when I first moved here. So
Oh my God, you were in her house?
yes, it was owned by Engelbert Humperdinck at this point.
Yes, I
Yes,
remember that.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Unfortunately, they tore the house down.
yes, it's there's not much left of it except for the big gates with their hearts in it out front, which if you look closely, you can still find them. They
They
haven't, yeah, yeah,
go ahead.
they haven't destroyed everything, but the house is gone and everything that we knew from the photographs. But the wrought iron front gate with the J and the M is still there, if you know where to look.
Oh my God. Next time I come to Hollywood to visit Nancy, my cousin who hooked us up,
Yes.
I'm going to tell her to take me to her house because I'm so depressed that they tore down that house. It was such a magnificent house. But enough of Jane. Let's talk about you, darling. Now, you came to Hollywood with big dreams. Your dream, you wanted to become a star. You wanted to be a star in Hollywood, which you are in many ways, but you wanted to be a different kind of a star. Tell my audience the story of how you became Dr. Christmas.
Well, that's like the number one question other than what do you do the rest of the year? It really wasn't planned. I tell people all the time, I didn't wake up one day and say, gee, I want to be a Christmas decorator. It was a long time coming because after I left college, I went to New York City. I worked for Saturday Night Live for a while as an intern and did the whole New York thing in the 80s and suffered and was broke and but got some really tremendous experiences. But we did the acting thing, worked a lot of the soap opera. But at one point I decided that, as much as I love New York, I always wanted to be in Hollywood. And
Mm.
so I met a young lady named Debi Staron in an acting class, and she one day said, "I'm going to move to LA and try to do the acting thing." And I said, "Well, let's do it." So I moved out to LA, kind of became a Hollywood tour guide when I first got here, and that's why I know so much about the city,
You've
which is
had many jobs, though, many, many jobs to support your show
yes.
business career. Am I right about that?
Yes, we did the usual waiter thing, the tour guide thing,
Yeah.
did everything that you needed to survive, right down to going to the local bingo parlor on the corner, hoping you could make the rent in one night. but the Christmas thing started as an accident. It back in New York City, I had done some
Yes.
part-time work
You
at
worked at Macy's in Herald
yes,
Square.
yes,
And
I
and your first client, I believe, was Mia Farrow. Am I right about that? Tell my audience the story of how she wanted you to do her tree. Tell us the
well,
story.
okay, well, I'm a kid from Michigan and I get to New York City. A Macy's department store is was a really big deal. To us in the Midwest, we knew the parade and I thought, "Oh my gosh." And I just moved to New York City with $200 in my pocket. I never once thought I wouldn't make it. And so we got there and I got a job right away working at Macy's and I was working in costume jewelry and all parts of the store. And one day they said, "We need some help in the Christmas department." So they sent me up to the Christmas floor and I just started decorating trees.
Now,
And
just to interrupt you for a minute,
sure.
did you take any courses in home design and decor or anything like that in
No,
college?
I totally made it up. Everything I've learned about Christmas, I've learned on my own or worked under other people and I picked up things along the way.
So
Like
you never took any courses in design or art before this happened, before you
no,
started.
no, I didn't at all. It was all
Wow.
instinctual. And so we just kind
Okay.
of made it all up. And like I said, we were decorating. Mia Farrow walked through the store that day and she said, "Gee, I wish somebody would do that in my home." Well, I was 21 years old at the time and, la, 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 la from the Midwest. And I just was like, well, I can come over and help you. It's just what we do. And so it was one of those things that I didn't think too much of it. I was like, wow, it was kind of cool to meet, Mia Farrow and do all that sort of thing. But
You
it
weren't
really
shy.
I'm not shy, and
Yeah.
it really didn't take off until the following year when I started thinking, I like doing the Christmas stores, and slowly but surely I started working in Manhattan in various department stores and Bergdorf Goodman and I Magnon's LA. Oops, I'm slipping here, but Bergdorf Goodman, and works with some really, really talented and horrible people.
Yeah, fashion is like that. I know I've been in fashion. I worked in the garment district. I was a secretary. Of course, I got chased around the desk many times. I had, crazy bosses, but in those days, you couldn't, nobody did anything, nobody sued anybody. But I had my share of, bosses coming after me as well. So, and then of course, I got married. But my dream, like you, I always wanted to be a movie star. I always wanted to be on TV. I always wanted to be in front of the camera, and I'm doing what I want. I'm living my life the way I want to live it. In fact, I think I like doing this better than being an actress. Although, like you said, I wouldn't mind if somebody hired me for a role.
Well, you know what, when you're young and you're starting out as an actor, you listen to everybody give you opinions and you really don't get this insight till later. If you're one of the luckier ones that start young and you just happen to have the right look and you get that early mentorship, it's great. But if you don't hit at that point, it's years down the road usually before you really kind of get it. And what the Christmas business did, like I said, was a total accident was I became involved with all of these people I would have never worked with as an actor. And it gave me this really incredible insight to my own acting career because now I I do it for fun and you work all the time. And so what I tell young actors is it's great to be serious, learn your craft, do all of that, but you got to remember to have fun about this because there's no guarantees around it. And I get more work when literally I walk into an audition going, well, if I don't get it, I'm fine, because I have something else built up behind me. And so
Right, exactly.
and the Christmas
Exactly.
career just kind of fell into my lap. And when we later moved to LA with Debbie, I ended up getting a job at Paris Hilton's mother, Kathy Hilton.
Yes, Kathy. The funny thing is, I know all these people. I've interviewed Mina Farrow. I've interviewed Kathy Hilton. I interviewed her and her father at the Fifi Awards when Paris won an award for best fragrance. So I know what she's like. She's very lovely, by the way.
Paris is I adore Paris.
And so do I. So do
I
I.
mean, the world, it's so funny because Paris's professional image is so different than the actual person. I
Yeah, she
mean,
comes off like a dizzy blonde, but she really is very
she's very,
smart.
she's very
Like
smart.
Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe is the same way. Jane Mansfield, too, was very
Oh yeah,
smart women.
very smart. And it's funny on the side note with Jane Mansfield and Marilyn Monroe, I was lucky enough to work for Hugh Hefner. And so I learned a lot.
Oh my God, you work for everybody.
Well, it's just funny how these interesting people that you land on their doorstep because you're decorating for the holidays. And when you're in their homes, you really get a chance to meet them. And
Yeah, on a
you know,
more personal level sometimes.
yeah, and they always say you should never meet your heroes. And sometimes that's true. But most of the time I've had really great experiences doing this. And so, like I said, when I was working at Kathy's store, Kathy actually pulled me aside and she said, "You want to make it in this town, kid? Watch me." And she taught me a lot about interacting with uh, the people of Los Angeles and how you get ahead, etc. And I also had a lovely mentor that worked in the store, another woman named by the name of Connie Pentek, who she was the epitome of graciousness. She was that lady that used to walk into those stores and she'd, yes, dear, lovely. Everything was beautiful. Everything she did. She taught me the polish of how to work with, basically the Hollywood arm of opening the door and learning how to be with people. And my Midwestern roots actually helps a lot because I think one of the reasons for my success is I'm brutally honest and people feel safe with me being in their homes.
Yeah.
And and they're very loyal in Hollywood. If they get somebody that they really love, they just don't want to look for anybody else. And then they tell their friends, and that's kind of how it all
And
starts.
that's how the ball gets rolling and how you get hired by other people. And like you also are very good friends with Lisa Gibbons. Lisa Gibbons loves you as well. You
Lisa was,
decorate her
yeah.
tree for how many years have you been decorating her tree?
Lisa Gibbons, and we credit her in our coffee table book. She was our angel
Mm.
because, well, the funny story is, how did you do this? Well, I believe you get your greatest success in life when you don't know the rules or you don't follow them, because the rules are put up there by other people and they're for other people's games. And so I didn't know anything. I didn't know you couldn't just call these TV shows directly. And so I happened to, the way I started my career was I started going to the grocery store. I looked at magazines on the rack thinking, first of all, what magazines are we right for? And I'd write letters and hoping to get them to write an article on us. And we actually surprisingly got a lot of success doing that. And the TV shows, I thought, well, if you want to make it in this town, you have to get on TV. And so
Yes.
I watched Lisa on Extra and all the shows and Entertainment Tonight. And I just decided to call her offices one day. The secretary thought I was a real doctor because my company was called Dr. Christmas. And she put me right through. And next thing you know, Lisa Gibbons is on the other end of the phone. She says, "Who is this?" I said, "Hi, I'm Bob Pranga. I'm Dr. Christmas. And I thought it would be fun to be on your show." And she went, okay. And next thing you
Well,
know,
Jane Mansfield did something like that. She left her, I think she lived in Texas, and she went to Hollywood and she called up, I think, Paramount Studios or one of those studios, and she says, "Hi, I'm Jane Mansfield and I want to be an actress. I want to be a movie star." She called the studio and told them this. Like people were like, "What?"
yeah.
You just call up a studio and say you want to be a movie star. And that happened, and then the ball gets rolling somehow.
And
Isn't that something?
it was very
Don't You
funny. And
can't be
then
shy. You can't be
you
shy.
cannot be shy. You have to just ask for things. You can't assume if you sit and wait for the knock on the door, it's never
It's
going to
not going
come.
to happen.
You
Let
have
me
to ring the
ask you
bell with
something.
bell.
Did you have any disappointments with some of the people you work with, like some of the celebrities that you thought they were all that and then they weren't? Did you ever have anything like that
Well,
happen to you?
Well, I think people want to know that sort of thing. One of the number one questions always ask me, who's the most difficult person you worked with? And
Yes.
I've learned very Hollywood. I always say the most difficult person I know is me. And
Well,
and
I was going to ask you, what was your most challenging job? I was going to ask you that. I'm asking you that now. What was your most challenging job?
Well, it's interesting because Christmas is so personal and it's so different to every person. You know, one of my gifts is that we always do the interview and I try to get into their psyche a little bit about what is the experience these people want to have.
Mm,
And the most difficult jobs are when people don't know. And you
yeah,
have to kind of second guess them or try to figure out. And sometimes you're sitting there playing therapist. I mean, the majority of the people I've worked with have been tr great. And I think that's part of it because we set that up right away. In my earliest interview, I used to say, well, if you want to participate, I want to have a good time doing it. If not, stay out of my way and sign the check. And I used to say that, and people were like, whoa. But you know what? It's you can find your own way to say it. I just happen to have one of those personalities that can kind of get away with that. But for the most part, you're very clear. And so when the challenging jobs arrive, it usually comes in the form of you just kind of catch the client on a bad day. It has nothing to do with you most of the time, and
yeah.
it really is how their day is. So often
I
when people
know. I tell people that too. I've interviewed several people throughout the years, sometimes the same person. And one time I'm interviewing them, they're so wonderful and so gracious. And then the next minute they're like very rude. So I tell people, it's probably because they had a bad day. It's not because they don't like you. It's nothing personal. They're human beings. Celebrities and movie stars are human beings, and they have ups and downs just like we do. So, you have to be forgiving. When sometimes if they're a little rude to you, you got to be
uh,
forgiving.
some of them I've only in there's a couple that were just I left the job going, okay, I can't work with this. And when you go out of integrity, it's a different story than being in a bad mood. And for the most part, I know how to circumvent all that. I think that's part of the success. And when I tell new decorators that come along and they're like, "Oh, it's so exciting to work with everyone," I go, rule number one, no matter how nice they are, always remember you are still the help.
Right.
You are not their friends. You have
That's what I tell people to do what I do, because a lot of times people think because you interview celebrities, you're friends with these people, and they'll never really treat you like a friend. They always treat you like you're a reporter or something like that. Of course they like me because I don't ask scandalous questions. So they're comfortable making when I go to the Hamptons or in New York City to interview people, they feel comfortable and they like me and they know me, but they're never going to put me on their level. They just never do. Am I right about that?
you will, like I said, you will be invited to things. I very seldom go to these parties when I'm invited to them because I like to keep a level of professionalism that we
Yeah.
try to do a business. I have gone to them early on, but what generally happens at these parties, first of all, I love it. I sound really jaded, like I didn't want to do this. I mean, I was really blessed to go to Carrie Fisher's numerous birthday parties. But that was a whole different thing because Carrie was just so casual that everybody knew her and everybody was always invited. And when you're in your 20s and 30s and you're like, here I am standing here talking to Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks and all these people while you're all eating macaroni and cheese together like you're at a college frat party and you're like that's really cool, but at the same time it's one of those things I tell people going to a Hollywood party with stars is you go to a party, you know everyone in the room and you know nobody.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I
It-
know.
it's
I
it's
know.
so it's
See,
it's
but I'm never bored at these things. I'll tell you why. Because when I go to these charity galas, I'm not bored. If I went just to be like a guest that paid to go to the charity gala, probably I would be bored. But because I go and I'm interviewing them, I'm not bored. But if I was just to go, I probably would be bored. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It can
it
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 can be boring if you're not doing stuff. You're not there with the microphone. If you're not interviewing them about the charity or what we
right.
can expect or how we can support and what is the charity all about, then it is going to be boring. But I wanted to also ask you, you work with a team of people though, don't you? I mean, you just don't do this by yourself.
It started out just me and my partner Debbie, who I went
Yes,
into business.
Debbie.
Debi I went into business with. But yes, I mean the job's got to the point that I have to have a crew of people. I have an average crew of 10.
Well,
Yeah,
that's pretty decent. Now,
you
I
know.
also wanted to ask you another question. Putting up a Christmas tree can be overwhelming. What are some of the tips we should all know about when planning to decorate to make it a little easier? I mean, I don't have that difficulty, but there are people out there, they're not that creative, not like you, but what should they do?
Well, first of all, I tell them just hire me. And then you can sit back and have your martini, your hot
That's the
chocolate,
best. That's the
just
best.
just hire me. But if you're doing it yourself, first of all, remember you don't have to do any of this. There's no requirement that says you have to have a Christmas tree at Christmas. So if it's so painful, you should be enjoying the holidays. But if I always say make it fun. There are some practical things to do right at the beginning. Make sure you have the space for the tree. There's a lot of things about most people don't like to light the tree or take the tree down. There's a lot of tips to
Yeah,
that.
I keep my Christmas trees up. This is no lie. I told you when I spoke to you on the telephone, what I do is I put my Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving, but I keep my Christmas tree up until Easter. And every holiday I decorate it from like the net after Christmas is Valentine's Day. After Valentine's Day, I'm not a green person. So after Valentine, I won't do St. Patrick's, but after Valentine's Day, I do Easter. So, so I keep it up until Easter and then I take everything down. That's
It's
what I do.
well, you were my people. It's
You do that too, because I know you just don't decorate for Christmas. You decorate also other things as well. Am I right about that?
Yes, I used to. Well, I primarily just do Christmas and Halloween now because
Yes, Christmas and Halloween.
Halloween has become,
Halloween's getting bigger than Christmas.
yes, it is. And Halloween is a holiday that everybody can do. See, and I think
Yes,
that's what
you're
it
right.
is. There's not so much, I hate to use the term baggage, but there's a lot of baggage with Christmas because everybody has their own belief system about it, and it's always about the past. People with
Yeah.
Christmas are always trying to recreate something that was memorable from the past. Halloween doesn't have that attachment
No,
because
you're right. You're right. And you could be any religion and celebrate
yeah,
Halloween.
you can do, yeah, it's just party and it's fun and it's
I
monster.
know. And you could
You
be
know, it,
scary, you could be beautiful, you could be glamorous, you could be anything you want when it's Halloween. And the funny thing is, like with me, with Christmas, like most people like that warm and fuzzy, cozy, in the house with the big Christmas tree and the fire blaring and the Christmas presents opening up and drinking the hot chocolate and all that. See, my idea of Christmas is like glamorous, like I'm in a big mansion or I'm in a penthouse, and I'm dressed in furs and diamonds, and I have all my friends come over and we're drinking champagne and eating caviar, or we're going out to a Christmas party where everybody's dressed divinely and we're all glamorous in New York City. That's my idea. That's what I like, because I like glamour. I'm not like one of these warm, fuzzy people, like, put on your pajamas and, open up the gifts. I think of Maine. Remember Maine when she had that big party in her house? That's the kind of Christmas I would like.
well,
And all these fabulous people.
you would have liked Hugh Hefner's Christmas party then.
Oh my God, it was pretty outrageous, I bet. Now, you wrote a book. So tell us, you wrote a book about Christmas. Tell us about that book.
Yes, well, it's interesting. The story behind the book was a friend of mine worked in publishing and at DK Publishing in New York. And he called me, said, Bob, our publisher wants to do a Christmas book, the All-American Christmas book. So I went to New York to meet with him. And here I'm thinking that I was going to, I walk in there going, oh, you want to do this? Where did you see me? I thought it would be, one of the many things that we had did. I'm just not name dropping, but we did a lot of things at those days. And he said, I saw you on the, oh my gosh, no. Anna Nicole show. Okay. I thought I was going to get, ABC, the this special, that special, the blah blah blah. And he said, "Oh, I saw you on the Anna Nicole show, and I just thought it would be so great." And I'm like, "Oh no, not, that's a story for another day." But
Yes.
which I thought was so interesting because backtracking, when I did an episode of Extra for Lisa Gibbons, I told her, I said, the Anna Nicole show contacted me, and she looked at me and she said, "Honey, you have to do it." But she says they more people watch their show than all of us combined. You have to do it. And I was like at that time going, oh, because it was a bit of a train wreck with
Well,
her.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
She like she's
she,
is
you know what? Anna Nicole was lovely to me.
yeah, I know. She's a sweetheart. I know my
She was
friend
lovely to
photographed her.
me.
Never
But
interviewed her, but I know she was a very sweet girl. I know she
yes,
was.
yeah, it was a very, but anyway, because I took Lisa's advice, did the show, we got the coffee table book. And the coffee table book led to a TV special. And so it just shows you that sometimes you have to live in the world of yes when you're
Mm,
starting. And then later on, as you get a little more established, then you can be a little bit more strategic about things. In the beginning, nobody gave us a playbook on how to do this career. Debbie and I just said yes. We made it up the entire way.
mm.
And when I knew that we had finally accomplished something was when that college exam that we always take, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And, my day, it was like fireman, doctor, whatever was open.
I always wanted to be an actress.
Yes. And they
That
put,
was my dream, always as a little girl. My father took me to the movies when I was 3 years old, and I said, "Daddy, are those real people?" And he said, "Honey, they're actors." I said, "Well, Daddy, when I grow up, that's what I want to be. I want to be an actor." And he
and it
said,
was, yeah, I mean, actor wasn't really on the list in those days,
"No."
but
And they're
now,
coming from a nice Italian girl. He's, "No, no, no. Only Butanas do that. No, no, no."
well, nowadays you can go take the test. They added professional Christmas decorator to the list of things that people could be now. And I
Oh,
thought,
that's wonderful.
I said, really? They say, we'd like to add your career to the list of possibilities. And I thought, wow, that was cool because I mean, like I said, Debbie and I had no rule book. Nobody
You,
showed us how to do
you've
it.
done Hallmark too, right? You do all the sets for Hallmark and stuff
Yes,
like
I
that.
mean, how this became is like, we did our career, we did the book, we got the TV show. I got all of these supplies, and then I thought, well, rather than store them, I should open a prop house. And that's how we got into the movie industry. And then Hallmark and movies like Elf and Polar Express and things like that, the big Christmas movies came to us because I specialized in Christmas. And they didn't want to do it. And so,
God bless.
and like again, I didn't know you couldn't do that. So we just,
God bless you. God bless you. I have to ask you two more questions.
okay.
Is there a favorite person, a favorite celebrity that you've done there? Is there somebody that just is beyond everybody else? Is there anybody that's your favorite? Can you tell us, or you
Okay,
don't
I
want
can
to do that?
tell you the one person I have not decorated for that I will know I've reached the pinnacle if she will say yes. And that would be Cher. And I say this everywhere I go. Cher, if you watch this, if you're listening, give me a chance. I don't care what it is, but she to me is the ultimate goddess.
You did Paris Hilton. Did you
Yes.
ever do Madonna's house?
I was called to Madonna's house once. Now, Madonna's a Michigan girl. I've had interesting altercations, and I always use that word with her, wherever we go. I've never been able to decorate for Madonna, but I met with her about it. I've done other things, but there's some folks, and that you have the energy with, and some folks you don't.
Well,
And I
my cousin told me that Madonna came to the studio and she had to go up all these stairs because the elevator broke. So Madonna was like, "You're kidding me. I got to walk up all those stairs now." And my cousin says, "I'm afraid so." So they had to walk up all the stairs. But she did it. She was a trooper.
oh
My
yeah, I
cousin,
mean,
she was a trooper.
I don't like, my encounters with Madonna have been just brief. I can't say one way or the other with her. She was nice to me and it just
Yeah.
wasn't something that worked out. But I mean, to answer your original questions, I've had several great people. I got to work with John Legend and Chrissy, Teigen. I of course got to work with Beyonce and she's lovely. I mean, she is
Beyonce, I interviewed her. She at this. that was when she made that movie, um,
Dream Girl?
Austin
Oh,
Powers.
Austin Powers.
She got out of the limo. She looked like a white Marilyn Monroe. I mean,
Mm.
a black Marilyn Monroe. She got out of the car. She was glowing. Remember Marilyn Monroe when she used to get out of the car? You used to see her on TV in the limo. She'd come out. She was like glowing. That's what she looked like. She was glowing, and she was very nice to me. I even like held her hand, her arm, and people were like, you held her arm. That's like a no-no. You don't do that. But I was inexperienced, and I interviewed her, and she was very, very nice to me.
She was
But
lovely to me too.
yes, very,
She was-
very nice to me. So, like, what's next for you? What's on your bucket list? What can we expect? What's next for you?
Well, I get bored easily. So, I'm like, okay, you wrote a book. Okay, did that. Or you got to, I would like, I've been writing a lot of scripts for Christmas films because what I would love to do is decorate a film set, which I actually got a chance to do and actually did a little acting role on it earlier this for an independent film. I would like to have the writing and then get a TV series, truthfully. I'm kind of circling back a little to my original dream of coming to Hollywood. And if
Yeah.
it's a holiday fair, that's great. We've been working on scripts. I've gotten some great responses. I had a couple pilots that went to Universal. The pandemic hit, so then you had to start all over again. But
Yes, I
I
know.
I go in,
I could only do Zoom. I couldn't go to any events. Everything was a Zoom interview. That was it.
and you really need that. I'm a big believer you got to meet people in person because you don't get the energy of them through this. It's a great.
Unfortunately, I I would love to be sitting right next to you. I really would. But I want you to tell my audience because they're gonna close us down. They just said 10, I got 5 minutes left. Tell my audience, darling, where we could go to find out more information about you as an actor, as a star, as a producer, as as a big star in Hollywood and a decorator for Christmas in Hollywood. Where can we go to find out more information? What is your website, darling?
You can go to drchristmas.com, drchristmas.com. That will give you all the pictures, a lot of the backstory, the clips, and all that stuff. If you want to learn all the different things that we have done in the past. I mean, People Magazine did a really fabulous article on me that you can Google that will tell you a lot more, and you'll get a more interesting idea of my personality because it was a fun article and it was a big deal. And I show up in the most unusual of places. Like, this is really cool. I mean, I met your cousin, and she said, "Oh, you got to meet my cousin. She'd have a great time."
Oh, you gotta be my cousin. She'd love
And
you.
I, and
And I do love you. I do. Tell my audience one more time the website.
it's drchristmas.com, drchristmas.com.
I love you, darling. I'm going to give you a big pink champagne kiss.
Oh,
Mwah!
I'm doing lots of pink clients this year, so I'll think of you.
Yes. And we will be back with more celebrity interviews. Don't go away yet, darling. We'll be back with more celebrity interviews right here at cognacscornermagazine.com. Pink champagne kisses.
Christmas tree stylist to the stars, Dr. Christmas.
You have to add the to the stars part in this town, really, if you want to get on television. I got hired by Kathy and Rick Hilton, Paris's mom and dad, and that opened a lot of doors. I just made a game of it. I was trying to see how many TV shows I could get on. I happened to call Lisa Gibbons, and I said, "Hi, this is Dr. Christmas." And the receptionist thought I was a real doctor, so she put me right through. I said, "Hi, I'm Dr. Christmas, and this is what I do, and this is going to be fun." And she said, "Okay."
They're known as the Dr. Christmas team. They are it when it comes to holidays. They're just it.
This is what I call my little charm bracelet girl.
My business partner, Debi Staron, has been invaluable to me.
I'm gonna buy this so that you can come when I call.
Good luck with that.
What is that color?
Coralish?
Coral? No one decorates as coral.
And once we were on one or two TV shows, then it kind of snowballed.
Dr. Christmas is coming to my house today. It's this guy Bob and Debbie, and they decorate houses for Christmas.
You're the best ever. She really needs coffee. Whatever.
Look at stocking holders. I'll give this to Danielle.
Dr. Christmas wasn't planned.
I didn't wake up one morning and say, hey, I want to be a Christmas decorator.
Burgundy and velvet.
Burgundy.
Burgundy and velvet. It was like velvet's a color now.
I said, hey, I want to move to Hollywood and be a movie star. And now the stars call me. A publisher from New York
Said, I'm a big fan of yours. I saw you on Anna Nicole and you were awesome. And we got a book out of it.
What's wrong with a little holiday celebration?
Enjoy yourselves. Be merry.
We acquired so much Christmas stuff and materials, we created Dr. Christmas Rents and started doing set decorating for Christmas films, TV, and commercials. Fred Claus,
Bam!
Elf, Christmas with the Cranks, American Horror Story, Nip Tuck, Huff, and all of these fun shows.
Fun, fun, fun.
Hollywood and Christmas are such a part of me.
That I don't actually think I could truly be separated from it. I mean, to go into people's homes and create this experience that my family provided for me, that's what people really want to see at the holidays. What's the future for Dr. Christmas? Well,
Just remember to sparkle.
because glitter gets you everywhere.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist, Cognac Wellerlane. Keep watching. More celebrity interviews coming up right here at cognacscornermagazine.com. Pink champagne kisses.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One of a kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls. I love to mingle, though my husband reminds me I'm not single. I meet and greet both the famous and the elite. I ride in limousines, drinking the finest champagne, wearing furs, dazzling diamond jewelry. A girl can't complain. I live the upscale life, dining in the finest restaurants, eating the best caviar for free. And no matter how much I enjoy cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. This has been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.